Jupiter Broadcasting presents this program in stereo. This episode brought to you in part by GoDaddy.com.
This week on the Linux Action Show, it's the biggest news week for Linux in years, and we cover it from every angle you care about. Mandriva, it's been forked. Linus earns a cheeseburger, and VMware might be buying Novell. We discuss. Plus, Palm's former WebOS lead designer has joined Nokia. But will this move spell more delays for MeeGo? Can MeeGo survive if it takes any longer to ship? We break it down. Oh, this week on the Linux Action Show. And welcome to Season 13, Episode 8 of the Linux Action Show. My name is Brian. I'm sitting next to Chris.
Hey there, Brian. The WeTab runs Linux, and not just any Linux.
Wait.
The WeTab.
The WeTab?
W-E-T-A-B. The
WeTab.
But
Good
despite
Lord.
a really poor name.
A horrible name. They might as well have named it WebOS. It's like the kiss of death.
Now this mother effer is going to have an Atom CPU. It's going to have 16 to 32 gigs of hard drive storage.
CPU and a tablet I like.
1 gigabyte of RAM. Oh, and MeeGo.
You know what it sounds an awful lot like? It sounds a lot like the Lenovo S13e08 tablet without a keyboard and with a lot less power and storage.
But MeeGos.
I can run MeeGo on the
you
on
can.
the S13e08.
But the peeps out there looking for themselves to get themselves a tablet. This might be a not bad way to go.
Without a keyboard and with less storage.
But if you wanted something that's more of a direct iPad competitor, this could be nice.
Oh, you mean something a little smaller? Yeah.
It's got 11.6-inch screen. All right, not bad.
That's nice. I like that.
Got a front-facing camera. Right.
I dig that.
That's not too shabby.
I got one of those on my tablet.
And are you ready for this?
Sure.
Supposed to be ready by next week.
Oh no, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Oh well, I'll believe that when I see it. But this came out.
Hey, you don't announce something and say next week.
I know, and it just came out at the Intel's developer forum that
it's got to be coming. It's got to be coming.
We'll see.
It's a terrible name though. Just god awful.
Yeah.
Then again, the Lenovo S10-3T is a pretty bad name.
But its product name is IdeaPad.
Yeah,
and
but there's like a lot of IdeaPads though. There's like netbook IdeaPads and tablet IdeaPads.
It's diluted.
I mean, that's like saying it's PC. It's a PC. You might as well just say all these are PCs. It's just PC branded.
They kind of are.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like it's not that interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I look at this and I think that's awesome. I want to see more devices shipping with Android and MeeGo both. I love the dual boot thing. Hey, did you see the Always Innovating guys? What they came out with this last week?
No, these are the guys that had that original ARM one, right?
Yeah, bring up that website here. Basically, what they did. So the Always Innovating Touchbook is what it was called. It used to be called the Touchbooks.
Oh.
Actually, I really like that website. Oops, we innovated again. I like that.
But did they ship the old one?
Yeah, no, they totally shipped the old one. They had some shipping problems, but basically it was a convertible. It looks just like this one.
The old one?
The old one. The difference is this one also has basically what they're calling like an IP phone. So that little tiny phone into it that's kind of like, an Android phone. It slides into the base,
and it all syncs together.
And it all syncs together. So basically, it's your main computer is that little smartphone, and you can slide it into the bigger screen, and boom, it's a tablet. You slide it into the keyboard's dock, and boom, it's now a netbook
running Linux,
and it's all the same system. So you just basically have as much or as little size and screen and keyboard with you as you want.
Instantaneous switching of all major OSs. Run Linux, Chrome OS, I'm assuming, and Android all next to each other.
Instantaneous is what they call it.
Open source, open hardware.
Yep.
Well, now this is really something.
No, it's really interesting.
I'm interested in this whole design where you have.
It's great.
I'm interested in this whole design where you have a handheld tablet that also connects over to a little handheld, like almost iPod-sized device.
Yep.
That could be really neat.
That could be really cool. Now, the thing is...
Any idea on price yet?
I think they talked about it a little bit. Go to the pre-order side of things over on the...
I'll pretend like I want to buy one.
Yeah, so the SmartBook.
This thing is cool. I'm digging the way this looks. Oh, I see. So you can buy it in a component, or you can buy it all together for $549.
So $549 for all 3 parts. Yeah, or the old one I think is still available.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Which it is a pretty decent little thing. The tablet and the internet device alone is $370. I mean, honestly, that's about the price of most low-end tablets. I mean, that's cheaper than an iPad. So
I'm loving this
bad.
3 devices in one thing for some reason.
I don't know how well it's going to work. They had some pretty significant supply chain issues with their original TouchBook,
right?
Which was
slowed it down.
An interesting device. I really wanted one, but it was so difficult to get one. You basically had to buy it, and you might get it about 2 to 3 months later.
Right.
They had to build them, and that was a real pain in the butt. So I'm waiting to see what happens with the build quality and the actual supply chain on these guys. But isn't that a cool idea?
It's going to have its main screen is going to be an 8.9-inch capacitive touch with 1024 by 600 resolution.
Yep.
Of course, it's going to have USB ports, HDMI out, 4 USB ports on top of that.
Not bad.
It's going to come with 3 different battery options: a 1200 milliamp in the keyboard, a 6000 milliamp in the tablet. That is really impressive, and a 1500 milliamp in the MiniBook. So they say outstanding battery life all around is really what their goal was.
Yeah.
And they're going to use an ARM CPU.
Three separate batteries, one in each item. The original TouchBook had the same thing, one in the keyboard and one in the screen.
Sure.
So, but you slide them together, you get the most possible battery life by having the full unit. Which was kind of a cool idea.
They include like their own, what they call their homemade AIOS or Ubuntu.
It's a
Chrome.
Linux distro.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All ARM based, of course. Huh. Hey, you know, I have got an
Kinda
Android
intriguing.
pick. But I wanted to say holler over to the boys at the GoDads. Well, we should mention, too, that this is an early episode of Linux Action Show.
It is. It's like 8 in the morning right now.
It's been like a period of a few weeks where we've had like a few different things going on. Like we had PAX going on.
Oh, yeah.
And then all kinds of
We've
stuff.
been busy as heck.
Yeah. Yeah. So should we say thanks to GoDaddy?
Oh, we absolutely should. Because this episode of Linux Action Show is brought to you by GoDaddy.com, the world's largest GoDaddy.com available today. GoDaddy.com can offer more GoDaddy.com than any other GoDaddy.com. You can register the domain registrars and the do-it-yourselfers, also SSL. Pretty much, if it's on the internet, GoDaddy.com can provide it for you. And then when they make their commercials, they'll be tongue-in-cheek with girls that aren't wearing a whole lot of clothing.
You know, that is an interesting approach.
Oh, my gosh. If you scroll to the right there, boom, woman working out with a GoDaddy.com across her chest area.
I wouldn't mind having that across my chest area.
That's a little GoDaddy.com right there.
I mean the girl.
If you want to make an impact online, you can do that with GoDaddy.
That's how you have it.
I got to write up some more ad copy because I tell you what, Chris.
You're getting old. You're
bored of saying this stuff.
Hey, you know.
So you know what I'm just going to say? I'm going to say if you go there, you want to make an order, type in Linux as when you check out, 10%, Linux 20% off of a completely different thing. That'll be a surprise
probably
for you.
Hosting.
It's probably hosting.
Probably.
It's the same as it was for the last couple years, but do it anyway. The fun thing, though, is just typing in Linux when you check out because then you just type in Linux.
I type it in all upper caps.
You know, I do it whenever I buy anything online. I pretty much go on and other notes, Linux, all in caps. Yeah, you never know.
And if nothing else, you just want to type Linux.
All the time, all in caps.
Shout it out, Brian.
Basically, I want to be a noob on a forum, and I want to shout Linux into every text field on the entire internet. That's how it is. Thank you, GoDaddy, for allowing me to tell people about that.
I like it, dude. All right, you ready for my crazy? And I got to set it up here a little bit. So why don't you do me a favor? I'm going to need you to bring up a web browser here. You ready for this one? So now,
all right, web browser's up.
All right, now as the peeps know, Brian.
Hand on keyboard.
Chris likes to make himself an Android pick, right?
I love Android picks.
So if you would in your browser, Brian, and I don't know how the Wi-Fi signal is going to work over here, but go to 10.1.10.10.106 colon 8080.
8080.
Yeah.
Oh, what an adorable port for a web server.
Thank you, sir. And then click on the Java one there. We'll see if that. I don't know if I have Java on that.
Oh, man.
But what I'm doing is this is a IP web camera for any Android phone, and it converts any Android phone into an internet accessible webcam. And if you're watching the video version right now, we're trying it out. What do you think, Brian? It's not too bad. I have it at 15 frames a second. Right?
I love that.
It supports. I don't know if this version supports sound. I think I was talking to the developer, and he's going to add sound in the next version. And you can do up to 720p. I'm only doing 800 by 600 because I figure, that's all I really need is 800 by 600.
Yeah.
But
800 by 600 is pretty big, you know.
So
I mean, that's a lot of 800s.
My thought is like this little guy, you know, and especially when you combine it with the Evo stand, you know, you could
put it right there.
I could put it like in my entryway and just shoot something for a little bit, and it also that web browser
like
allows you.
The
web browser allows you to send commands like take a picture now, autofocus now, all kinds of stuff. So and it's free. It's IP webcam, and I'll link to it in the show notes.
That's pretty cool.
And there you go, you guys. So convert your.
How many connections can it handle? Like how many people could hop into it and watch it at the same time?
I've never tried it more than one.
That's kind of cool.
The other thing I like a lot is you see that top link there is it allows you to stream to VLC.
Oh, that's
once
cool.
you put that in VLC, of course
you can save it to whatever you want.
Exactly.
VLC is awesome.
You can record it to any format you want. The VLC support.
Immediate photo.
Yeah, isn't that neat? I turned it off.
All right.
But isn't that neat?
That is really neat.
Yeah.
Actually.
So that's IP webcam for Android, and if you need to spy on somebody discreetly with a phone, you know, maybe you want to stream a meeting, just take.
You might want to stream a meeting.
Take it there.
I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but Illumination Software Creator can make Android applications.
Oh,
all right.
really?
Yeah, over at RadicalBreeze.com.
Oh, really?
Nice, huh? All right. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, Brian.
Let's do the news. What's new in the news this week?
Oh, right, Brian. We have a huge news docket for this week. Huge, Brian.
There's not that many items, but they're big, damned items.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them.
Like a couple of weeks ago, we
lot.
had a PAX episode. We didn't even have enough news. I think maybe we skipped the news. This episode, we got a ton of news. Check this out.
Really key stuff. Let's do the little one first.
The little one.
Yeah,
Mangia, Brian.
Okay, now wait. Let's cover the news item, then let's talk about the name, because it's two separate topics.
Well, I don't know how you say it. Oh, I guess there's no N.
Magia?
Magia. It's
I thought it was Mangia.
It's a new Linux
also.
distribution, and why it is popular is it is a fork of the Mandriva Linux distribution.
Oh, it's so much deeper than that. So Mandriva's basically dead.
Yeah.
So the company
the core developers have left.
That holds the like holding company that bought out the Mandriva company basically just cut funding. So
Isn't that sad?
a bunch of the devs are gone, leaving, left. It's Mandriva is just dead. So people are like, well, we've
I don't
got
know if
the
it's officially
source.
dead, but I mean, come on.
I mean, it's dead.
I mean, come on.
it's dead in the water, is what it is. You know, maybe someone will come along, tow that boat back into a dry dock and fix it up. Who knows? But for the meantime, it's forked. They're trying to get people involved. And that project is Mageia.
Yeah,
Magia.
Mageia. Now, I'll say
Magina?
this.
No, Magia.
There's a couple. Maybe
don't know.
Magina. I think you might have it with Magina.
Magia. Yeah.
There's a couple of
I don't
things. So now Mandriva, I think, is a grand total of 12 years old. So this is a pretty big change up. It's also, I think a lot of people that have watched the show have written in and told us, hey, my first Linux distribution was Mandriva.
Yeah.
Or Mandrake, so was mine.
Yeah, Mandrake's awesome.
And it went through that rough period. Now, what's interesting is they're going for a Debian type oversight.
Yep.
They didn't want one community or one company now to control
own it,
that.
yeah.
So they want to do a community base.
I don't know. I think that actually kind of ruins the whole thing behind Mandrake or Mandriva. Like, I liked the fact that they put together a nice put-together package. It was an alternative to the other ones that are out there.
Get the same experienced people that put it together for so long.
You could, but you know what I mean. There's something to be said for some guy has like so much control of the company, and he can just lay down the hammer of God.
Exactly. That's what the commercial aspect. That's what the commercial entity does. Is it's that motivation. You need to get this done.
Exactly.
Debian, it does have a lot of slips. The flip side, though, long-term trust. Looking at over all of these distributions over the years,
they're there. They work well. Yeah.
I mean, like literally, we're running a Debian release on our server that has been out longer than some distributions have started and failed and started and failed, even big ones.
Yeah, it's true.
So there is a certain stability that it's almost like a union-run distribution versus, isn't it in a way?
It is.
And I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see where this could lead a Mandrake-type distribution now with this type of oversight.
I don't know. I don't know. Because, I mean, from my standpoint, what happens when you lose the commercialiness of Mandrake?
The commercialiness.
What happens when you lose the ability for a company to negotiate codecs and drivers and a couple of commercial apps and everything else into it, and now it's in the community's hands? That might work out great and make a great distro, but it's not going to be Mandrake. It's not going to be Mandriva. It's going to be a different distro.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I don't use Mandriva anymore.
Well, and I stopped using Mandriva used to be able to get those power packs, and those would have all those kinds of things. And it seems like maybe a refocusing of their goals. They say the key goals of the distribution are to make Linux and free software straightforward for everyone to use.
But see, that's the goal of half of the distros.
Provide integrated system configuration tools.
Half of the distros out there.
Keep a high level of integration between the base system and then the desktop, like GNOME or KDE.
Again,
especially improved third parties integration, be it free or proprietary software.
Don't know what that means.
I think it means kind of what you're saying. If nothing else, it's not this. It must be free only to make it in our distribution mantra.
That's true. That's true. But then again, Ubuntu's gone that way now too.
New architectures and form factors, and improve our understanding of how computers and electronic devices. Improve our understanding of computers and electronics devices and users and their uses.
Improve our understanding of computers and electronics devices users.
Yeah. So the users of electronics.
Oh, okay. That was just a terrible sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with it now.
And then, of course, they're open for ideas. They already have... I also like calling out the actual people involved and what their role is.
Man, that sentence made my brain shut down.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It just totally, like, I saw it, and I just would, like, bad on Joe.
So they got the whole distributions cast approved up on that's been approved up on the website.
That's great, and it's a big crew of people.
It could be, and this could be one of those cool things to go capture, and then years down the road, if some of these people are still working on it, you know the names of the individuals working on that aspect of the distro.
That is nice.
I like that. That's something you only get with open source. Coming up, they're going to they're just getting started, so they're looking for hardware hosting. They need servers. They still need some more developers, and then they've also got the mailing list you can go visit if you want to.
And you can visit them on Facebook.
Yeah. So if you want to do that, you can as well, or go join the IRC.
I don't know. It just, to me, I look at this and I'm like, well, if you're going to go totally open source and all that, why not move to one of the open source originally distros and that kind of had a lot of the same things going for it as Mandrake or Mandriva.
Mandriva's their baby, I guess, huh?
At this point, yeah. I mean,
they know it inside and out.
If you are just a pure diehard Mandriva guy, you know, my guess is half the Mandriva users are jumping ship.
We'll talk about how relieved you are, though, if you are and always have been a hardcore Mandriva user, or if you have Mandriva deployed on your servers.
It's a way to keep you alive. It's a way to keep you safe.
It's like when Red Hat announced they were canceling Red Hat Desktop. Everybody kind of pooped themselves for a little bit and said, "What's this Fedora core crap going to be about?"
But the Fedora core was the way for people to stick around. But look what happened to Fedora. It does not have the market share it used to have.
It's true.
Also, it's a really terrible distro.
See, that's where I thought you were going. Yeah. You know, I probably got 30 different types of communication over the week. Why does Brian hate Fedora so much?
Oh, dude. That is nothing compared to the communications I got. Really? I got some angry emails.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I should say, one or two of the emails were very well thought out and interesting, and I had a really good conversation with two dudes that was, you know, over the pluses and minuses of Fedora and why Fedora is great, but where it might have some issues and why I should really give it a second chance.
Yeah.
Totally great guys. You know, they had great points and everything. Most of it was literally like several individuals were just claiming in rather colorful language that I was doing something I cannot talk about because we're this, you know, children might be watching, to Steve Ballmer. I'm like, really?
Oh, really? They went the Microsoft lover route and stuff like that?
Did.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, no, it was either Microsoft lover, and to a lesser degree, it was, you know, the canonical Ubuntu Shuttleworth lover.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dudes, come on.
You know what I got?
If anything, right now, I'm kind of a SUSE fanboy.
There was
right now.
Yeah. You know what I got was a lot of times when it was in a public spot, like in the Jupiter Colony or on my BuzzFeed, when we were talking about, you know, because every time I post an episode of Linux Action Show, it cross posts to my BuzzFeed, and people can make comments on it there, and there would be like. Somebody would be like, "Why does Brian hate Fedora?" And then somebody would be like, "Because it sucks."
I like that one too. I saw that one. Yeah, that one made me super happy.
Like, there's a few of those, like over on the site and everything.
Yeah, there's some on YouTube. I think there's one on our website.
It's interesting. There's a definite, there's a riff there.
But the interesting thing is, most of the people that ask, "Why does Brian hate Fedora?" are people that aren't actually using Fedora right now. Like, I've had conversations with people.
See, I don't hate Fedora myself.
Who have been like, "Man, why are you harshing on Fedora so much?" I'm like, well, Well, why do you use it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't use it. I was thinking about giving it a try.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you haven't even tried it? When was the last time you tried it? Well, I used to use Red Hat. Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait. What?
So you haven't tried it in 7 years, but
You're on my
confident it's awesome,
Yeah.
and you're tired of me having an opinion about something you haven't ever.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Astounding.
But,
What's amazing is how many like tweets and Facebook posts and whatnot I've gotten from people
It's an interesting issue.
that have been along the lines of just tried Fedora, fail. Or
Honestly,
just tried Fedora. Unfortunately, Brian was right.
I sometimes forget that there is an actual. There's like sometimes some heated contention between the users of the distros. They get in kind of like their distro favorite fights, and we just try so many distros on the show that, to me, I have distros I prefer.
Yeah.
And I have distros I don't prefer.
Yeah, same.
And I don't really hate or love. I mean, maybe love. I kind of love them all. I just love them less. Like children.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, you know who else?
You know what's
feels that
really
way?
interesting? I don't feel that way.
You know who probably does, Brian?
In fact, I hate Fedora so much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Here's the thing.
Yeah, here we go all over
Here's
again.
really why I bust Fedora's balls. It's because it's way back when we actually were Fedora users primarily. Like Fedora Core 6, that time frame. That's what we were using.
Yep.
And we made like one. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was we didn't like the default theme.
No, we liked DNA.
Oh no, we liked the DNA. It was later that we didn't like the theme, but there was like one app, and maybe we had a few problems with the installer.
It happened when the title bar was referred to as looking like Windows 2000.
It does kind of look like Windows 2000. Is that what it was?
I think so.
And then, man, the Fedora community lost their noodles. They went crazy. They just got so angry, and I was like, dudes. Literally, I gave you like 9.5 stars out of 10 on this review, but you were pissed because I didn't fix the 0.5 star problem.
Right.
I'm like, dudes, you got your panties so far in a flaming
so now you wanna
bunch
poke
up
at
your
'em.
butt. Now I want to poke at them because every time I poke at them, they get riled up.
I know.
It's too much fun at this point.
Why don't
Whereas Ubuntu, I've made so much fun of Ubuntu in the past.
And we've got on their case quite a few times.
And you know what they do in response? Fix the problems.
Usually.
Yeah, they usually stay quiet and fix the problems. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice. Or then like SUSE. We used to make fun of SUSE because we're like, man, SUSE's just not relevant.
Right.
We said that so many times. Like, what are they doing that's interesting? I just don't see it.
What are those guys up to?
And then they come out of nowhere with like the OpenSUSE build service and SUSE Studio and all these things that are interesting and relevant. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So they took what was constructive criticism and got awesome.
Yeah.
Fedora doesn't do that. That's
Ouch.
why I keep poking at Fedora, hoping that they're gonna do that because they got so much power behind them. They can.
I think Fedora fills a need, and I think Fedora, they do make changes and improvements in areas that are needed. So I try not to give them a hard time.
Yeah, I know. You know what's great about that? Balance. Like if this show was the Force.
Yeah. It's balanced.
One of us is light and one of us is dark.
We're like on a teeter-totter balanced. Hey, let's talk about somebody else who brings...
I went for the Force analogy, and you went for a teeter-totter.
I know.
That's adorable.
Let's talk about somebody else who focuses on the balance, Brian.
Yeah, let's talk about balance.
That'd be Mr. Linus Torvalds, the father of Linux, who doesn't care if you run Fedora or Ubuntu, just became a U.S. citizen. Now, I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to...
I love that look he's making. He's like, man... I'm looking at Fedora right now, and it's ugly. That's that face.
I thought that was.
At you. He's like, that's an ugly Fedora.
I thought that face was. I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse in the U.S. That's what it looked like to me.
Nah. Oh, that does have a smirk to it. Yeah, you got a little thing going on.
So that's just it.
Well, hey, welcome to the best country on earth, my friend. It's pretty rocking here. Try our cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear we do those well.
Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to have cheeseburgers until you become a citizen. I was just looking at the before this.
Yep.
If you're watching this recorded, by the way, you missed the whole live show, which means you missed like a half-hour discussion about the things you get at McDonald's in various countries. It's crazy. You can get like deep fried lobster and pork rolls and all sorts of just weird stuff. And here's the thing. Poor Linus, until just now, was only able to eat the weird stuff in other countries. Now, you can have a quarter pounder, my friend.
You're welcome.
You can have a quarter pounder.
Now, this next story ties in well. We were just talking about Novell. There has been rumors since the Linux Action Show started again 2 seasons ago about Novell being bought out.
That was 2 seasons ago.
It was, right?
Yeah.
And now there has been, not confirmation, but there has been reporting done by the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Gardner,
heard of them.
and also Computer World.
I think it's all based on the same story.
I think so too.
I think it's by the Wall Street Journal was the first one.
So here's what it says: is VMware is pursuing Novell's SUSE Linux operating system business. Now, so this doesn't mean they're going to buy all of Novell. It doesn't sound like, maybe just Novell's software Linux division.
So the rumor is there's a basically a holding firm, kind of like an equity kind of company, one of those companies that goes around and buys up
that
IP.
equity firm might be buying NetWare.
Right. Which, I mean, come on. NetWare.
And Attachmate, I guess, is owned by investors, and it looks like they...
Attachmate.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see kind of... I mean, this is actually... This is exactly how we reported it a while ago. It sounds like they're going to get
point out that that's my entire commentary of both NetWare and Attachmate. Like, I don't have anything good to say other than saying the product's name disparagingly.
It's just because it brings back memories, yeah. Now,
it's just been so long since we've heard anything from either of those products. Here's
what I like about the Gartner's coverage is they really broke down some logical reasons why maybe VMware would want to make this purchase.
Yeah.
Now, this is huge, right? I mean, Novell, they are the granddaddies and fathers and mothers of OpenSUSE, SLES Enterprise, and also their desktop offering for the Enterprise, SLED. They have, a huge involvement in the Mono project.
Huge.
They have a huge project involvement in Banshee, FSpot, a lot of the really, top tier Mono applications.
OpenOffice.
Yep. Oh yeah. So, what happens if, say, SUSE Linux goes away? I know I'd be really concerned about that.
Oh, I'd be really torqued up because I really just got back into SUSE.
Exactly, and my main concern is that VMware is interested in OpenSUSE not for the technology of SUSE Linux, but to make right now VMware, their enterprise-grade products that cost tens of thousands of dollars are based off of their core OS that they boot up before they launch their virtualization environment is Red Hat Linux, an old Red Hat Linux.
Yep.
And I'm sure they pay out an S-ton to Red Hat for that. So I bet they would love to own their own virtualization-friendly Linux distribution.
SUSE Studio.
Yeah, right?
That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
VMware could build a minimal appliance OS to run their virtualization.
Yep, and along with a totally rockin' way for people to come in, make a commercial version of SUSE Studio where you could customize and add in a bunch of commercial tools that you've already licensed with your VMware account.
Here's the other thing. I don't know if you remember, but VMware worked with Canonical to make JEOS, Just Enough OS.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a real slimline virtualization OS that you could get going and then load your virtualization on top of. The problem with Just Enough OS is it doesn't have the backing certificates and, like you can go out and get a Red Hat Enterprise certificate or a SUSE Enterprise certificate. You can go out and you can say SUSE has been certified to this grade of security specification. All these things you need in an enterprise, like at a bank and stuff like that, that Just Enough OS didn't have, Red Hat does have, and SUSE Linux has. To be honest with you, there's not many Linux distributions that do have these types of frameworks around them, like a certification program, like security gradings and things like that. So it makes a lot of sense that they would want an operating system that already has that.
Absolutely. It's awesome. It makes a ton of sense to me, actually. And
the problem is VMware just has no interest, in my opinion, in being in the operating system business.
No. VMware has an interest in making money on servers and virtualization of desktops.
Through virtualization.
Now, if you have a desktop Linux distribution with a 10% in the Linux world market share, that's fantastic because that's 10% of the Linux world you can get VMware onto and you can really push VMware on. That's great. Now you've got a great base for both your servers and your desktops. You've got a series of web services to complement that. It's good press. Every time a new version of SUSE comes out, of OpenSUSE, that's good press for VMware. It has the VMware logos on it.
If they keep that going.
And every new release is going to have links and discussions of current VMware products.
And here's why they might do that too.
That's great press.
Server 2008 R2 ships with Hyper-V.
Yeah.
A pretty decent virtualization platform.
Yeah, it's not bad.
If you don't need something that's very large scale and very manageable. There's solutions around it, but VMware still has that crown. But it is an operating system shipping with a very usable built-in virtualization solution. So maybe you take your VMware free products, you bundle those at the kernel level with SUSE, and you ship SUSE and say, look here, now you can get an enterprise Linux distro that comes with VMware virtualization, just like Server 2008 R2 comes with Hyper-V. So maybe that's a reason they don't kill the Linux distro. Just like you're saying, they can also do the desktop version, which keeps pushing their desktop product.
Look at it this way. Why, when Novell bought SUSE, we had the same discussion, basically. Why would they keep SUSE alive?
That's true, we did.
I mean, we had the same discussion. I mean, they make NetWare.
Right.
Novell makes NetWare.
I could see them wanting a server distribution, Brian.
Exactly. But it was beneficial to them. Honestly, it took Novell from the network company and put them on the map as a technology firm. I mean, this is true, dude. Big.
It's too bad it didn't work out better for them because it revitalized Novell in a big way. Brought them current in a big way.
In a big way. I think it's mostly just, some management issues and clinging to some very strange products that's kind of tanked
It's a difficult transition for them to make.
It's interesting. Of all the companies that could buy SUSE and buy Novell's portion of SUSE, VMware is kind of one of the good ones.
I agree.
They've had good support for Linux over the years.
Yeah. They've got good smart engineers working for them.
Yep. They've got a product,
big history with Linux
that's all over the map, that is pervasive. I mean, we use VMware Workstation and Player and Server and stuff everywhere. So, at this point, it seems like a fairly natural fit. Who else could come in and buy SUSE? Could you have
Red Hat? There was some talk Red Hat might be interested because I guess Novell still has a pretty significant patent portfolio.
That's true. SUSE doesn't look like Windows 2000 at all, and Red Hat does like things to look like Windows 2000, so they could buy it and make it old and blue looking.
The rumor was they were interested from the enterprise standpoint. The thing I really still think...
That's true, because they don't make very good enterprise products anymore.
One of the things I'll say, one of my experiences with OpenSUSE...
products are fine.
I had the SUSE Enterprise server. I had a 15-minute... Using their YAS tool, 15-minute domain controller setup. I mean, I just told them doop, 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 doop.
That's pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm personally hopeful. So I called down to
Novell.
Yeah, I called Novell. So because I've got a lot of emails from people who work at Novell.
Right.
And I talked with them about it, and none of them could really say anything because they don't know.
There's a lot of legal problems.
Mum's the word.
Yep.
The company's not talking to the employees, but the official stance was, hey, if the press comes to you, send them to this dude. So it was like the director of PR and whatnot.
When we covered the story originally, I got a lot of emails from people in Novell that said, "News to me, buddy. I hadn't heard anything about this." And my response back was, "You probably will." Now remember, none of this is 100% official yet. This all could blow away.
It's rumors.
But there's a lot of people reporting this.
There's no official thing here. There just isn't an official thing here. So So I called down, talked with the director.
Try to get the official word from the source
of it's not like the director of PR or something. I'll have to dig up this thing. But I talked to him for about 5 minutes or so. Seemed like a really nice guy.
Didn't have anything official to say though.
Yeah, I'm like, so what's the official comment? He's like, official comment is no comment. And I'm like, great. What's the unofficial comment?
Exactly.
He's like, we have no comment at this time.
Oh.
All right, so let me hypothetically ask you this.
Right.
So I asked him like 10 different questions from every possible angle I could. I'm like, okay, so...
What angle over there that might finally work?
So if I'm outside and I'm wearing a really cool hat, let's just say I'm wearing a really cool hat just outside your office, and you want that hat. Let's just say, hypothetically, I leave that hat on the ground.
Right.
And you came out and to pick up the hat up, put it on your head and walked away, but left a slip of paper in the hat's place.
Right.
What would that piece of paper say?
I love that.
So I was just kind of talking to him for a while. And
what if there was a hat that had a VMware logo on it and a Novell logo on it, and you had to pick up one hat and you could only wear that hat for the rest of your life?
So... Dude, are you falling off your chair there?
Button, Brian.
You hit the button on the chair. Go ahead and tell your story. So I was asking the guy, I'm like, okay, so... do you have a time frame on when you might be able to say something?
Share something
no
interesting?
Comment?
Yeah.
He's like, at this point, we have no comment. But that actually kind of tripped him up for a second because I could tell he was thinking, wait a minute, if I say
I'll have an announcement in this time frame,
that means that something's happening. Yeah. So, but he towed the company line well, but I never got anything hardcore out of him. I mean, I didn't think I would. I called down to VMware. Of course, got nothing there.
Yeah.
So you know what? It's okay. They're doing their business. Let's let them do their business. Here's the thing, though. If you're a company and you're buying another company, whichever of those two companies you are, if you are, in fact, buying that company, do you say no comment? I guess you still say no comment.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You say no comment either way, right?
Yeah.
So...
Just until all the legal stuff's done.
I keep trying to think through like some sort of weird loophole where they've said like one word out of place that confirms it. I can't find nothing.
So go back and be like, so now that everybody knows, any comment?
So I'm just following up on the Wall Street Journal article.
Yeah.
I should call back and say I'm from the Wall Street Journal.
Then I probably never know.
Yeah, they never know.
There's probably more Linux users listening and watching our show than read the Wall Street Journal. So
probably
there you have it.
Yeah.
One last thing I just want to say before we move on from OpenSUSE and SUSE in general is whatever happens. When I've used SUSE over the years, I've always felt like it had a significant level of polish and a significant level of history to it. I felt like the distribution itself was rooted in Linux history, like the core of Linux. You go into that thing, and like I remember just even years ago from I don't know, the early 2000s, everything from the bootloader and the boot menu, and they had this nice graphical console back in the day, and YAST, and the fact that they had an ASCII version or an N-curses version of YAST that also was just as usable as the graphical version was just an absolute, back in the day when Linux distros maybe might have a configuration tool available in the GUI, but on the command line you had to do it completely by hand, and they were one of the few distributions that really came through on all levels. So I definitely have a soft spot for this distro, and we'll be watching the story closely to see what happens.
Oh, heck yeah.
All right, let's move on to this story. I just have a couple of comments. I thought you might too. We talked a couple of weeks ago about Ubuntu taking some heat for not maybe contributing as much back to upstream code projects as they should. And I guess Shuttleworth has been reading the feedback, and he came out on his blog.
Did you read his blog post?
No, I didn't.
Click on that link right there. Check this thing out. Check out the length of this blog post.
It was mentioned being very lengthy.
It is so long. I had to read it in like 3 chunks. Scroll.
This man had something to say.
Keep scrolling. See, check that shit out. I mean, that is all. You beeping that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, of course. Beep.
Thanks.
I missed
nice
it.
Job.
Tried though,
man. But it is just long and lengthy.
And the reason I didn't read it is
the
because
man has his words.
I wanted to ask you. My personal opinion is this is what he should have said.
Wait a minute.
Well, I was hoping you read it.
Wait a minute. The reason you didn't read
here's my thought.
Is because you wanted to ask me on the show what he said.
Because Chris of the Linux Action Show, if he was going to write a blog post, here's what he would say.
All right, lay it on me.
He would say, everybody needs to shut the F up. Ubuntu has done more than all of you efforts combined have done for the name of Linux and getting the adoption of desktop Linux than anyone else has.
Yeah.
We are the reason Linux is as strong as it now on the consumer side.
Yeah.
Not the number one reason. I mean, the number one reason, not the only reason, but probably the number one reason.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion, is that in terms of contribution to the community, there sometimes is something more than code. Not to say they shouldn't contribute code, and I think he should admit to that, but I think he should come through and say, look, we're the big dick, and we're the one getting the job done. So what did he say? Is that about what he said? Chairman, did I have it right?
No.
Oh,
Not quite.
That's what he should have said.
So, kind of. I mean...
He didn't say anything about being a big dick?
He did not.
I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Mark Shuttleworth did not mention...
I mean like you're in the locker room, you know what I mean? And you got the big dick?
Yeah.
Not like you're a big dick.
No, Chris, I totally knew what you said meant. I knew that you were referring to penis size.
Right.
Girth, if you will.
And generally,
than attitude.
In casual conversation, the larger the girth, the better. Now, you can't have a conversation where the size of girth is representative to the person's attitude.
You might. You might. For instance, I'm pretty cocky. All right. No, so
he said, here's something.
Here's
something he said that I totally agree with.
What are we doing? Yeah.
He says, I did not found Ubuntu as a vehicle for getting lots of code written, which, I mean, come on, really? You found a Linux distribution, there's going to be lots of code written.
No.
I know. He says, that didn't seem to be what the world needed at that time. Shuttleworth continues to go on. It needed a vehicle for getting it out there. I'm assuming he's talking about Linux, not his dick. That cares about delivering the code we already have in a state of high quality and reliability. Most of the pieces of the desktop were already in place, and the code was flowing in. It just wasn't being delivered in a way that would take it beyond the server and go to the general public, and that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
It's exactly how I feel.
That's pretty much the gist of what he was talking about. He was talking about how the whole point of Ubuntu, or one of the points of Ubuntu, and what Canonical is doing, is a focus on usability and the end user needs.
When Warty Warthog shipped, it wasn't it wasn't a groundbreaking distribution. It was a best of. It was before Warty Warthog shipped. Every distribution, well, not every, but 95% of them had 5 text editors, 12 terminals, 3 Office suites pre-installed.
Right. It consolidated. It gave a laser focus to here's some of the best apps and integrated
we take
together.
that for granted now.
Integrated together so everything works well together. They all use the same file browser, file dialog, those sorts of things, and it felt good. Right. Now, there's not a lot of code necessary for that. There's a little, but there's not a ton. And he makes the point that, that's what Ubuntu is about. It's about figuring out what those use cases are for individual users, what they do, what they actually do, and bundling the best open source software together to accomplish it, plus a couple of canonical funded projects to add in the extra bit of polish and to fill in the holes. And that's cool. I get that. That makes sense to me.
See, for me,
it's not going to do anything, though, to squash the people who are pissed off about Ubuntu not contributing a ton of code back. Because he's basically coming out and saying, I don't want to. And so everyone's going to say, but you should.
Yeah, and so he kind of should, though.
The argument is going to continue.
See, here's why. In October of 2004, when the first official release of Ubuntu shipped, not the betas.
It was 2004?
Yeah, dude. Right? When that first shipped, we needed less code and we needed more polish.
That's true.
Now I think we might be approaching a stage again where we need more code again. And I think maybe that's why some of this came up. You look at we need 3D compositing, we need multi-touch, we need our UI taken to the next level. We needed a lot of the things like the notifications and stuff like that done.
That's true.
So
but
I think maybe the need for what we need from Ubuntu might be changing a little bit now. Plus, the other distributions have adopted that minimalistic choosing of the best. Take Mint, for example.
Yeah.
Now I can get Mint on top of Debian. Doesn't have anything to do with Ubuntu, but I still get the same essential package that I get from Ubuntu. Yep. I think the market has moved from what they need, but Ubuntu is still delivering what they created in 2004. And so I think this response to you're not contributing to code is actually a symptom of that problem. Because I think we do need the code now.
I'm not 100% certain. I mean, because I look at it and I think, okay, look at Ubuntu 10.10.
Yeah.
They're bringing in commercial software purchases from the software store.
It's true.
Which, by the way, hopefully...
maybe have
talking with
an
people,
interview next week, or notes of
a little review and a couple of announcements, maybe relating to some software. But we're working on it anyway. But things like if you look at Ubuntu, it has features that other distros don't. Like look at the little me menu thing.
Yep.
Look at
libnotify.
libnotify.
Other distros have
look
that.
at they're kind of doing some UI change ups. They've obviously
got
the
damn close, minimize, and maximize buttons.
They sure did move those. Then again, other distros have had that.
Yeah.
They are doing things that are different. I mean, heck, it's even set up now where in Ubuntu 10.10, the application center is actually replacing the standard Debian package file format. So when you double-click a local .deb file, it launches the entire software center, which will then install the new app.
Can't deny they're about to make some really great integration and improvements with Ubuntu One.
Right.
The problem is Ubuntu Store, Software Store, and Ubuntu One, which is going to be awesome for config changes and things. I mean, I might run Ubuntu solely because of that.
Yeah.
But none of that helps the overall Linux economy.
Nope.
And it's a really, really slippery slope when your product is based off others' code, and then you're developing value out on top of that doesn't help them out.
See, here's
as long as they keep working that.
Here's the thing, though. From a market share standpoint, it does help out the Linux economy.
I agree too.
If all ships rise. I mean, if Ubuntu takes 80% market share, sure, that's going to take away in the short term from a lot of the other distros in terms of people using them. And that takes away from developers using them, which means less work is going to get done on those distros. But that means those developers are still around, still working on projects, and still doing things that are contribute to Linux.
Well, and it's like there's this idea.
And you bring in more people.
It's like there's this idea of the mythical user that would never switch distros.
Yeah.
They would just get on Ubuntu and then be so happy that they'd never experience any other distro.
Dude.
Nobody does that. Look at yourselves, people. You switch distros all the time. I mean, not constantly, but you try them out. I mean, we constantly, but you probably try them out at least a couple a year. You're never going to get one distro. And, well, we actually know a guy that gets one distro and then never changes. But I guess some people do, but there's a huge majority out there. And we talk about it like there's these mythical users that will somehow lock into Ubuntu or something, and they'll never get to experience the other stuff being developed elsewhere. It just doesn't work like that.
Seriously. So, I mean, granted, I have to do stuff for the show. I have to install stuff all the time for the show.
Yep.
But I mean, I have like 2 machines at home. Those are my machines. I work on those machines. I depend and I live and play on those machines. I need them to work how I want them to work. Right now, they're running SUSE.
Yeah. And I'll probably, like, my main machines, I probably leave 6 months to a year at least. But then...
Like, my tablet is running Ubuntu 10.10 right now for the multi-touch testing.
Yeah.
But as those packages and that stuff becomes more and more accessible on the other distros, which, honestly, come on, it's open source components. It's being contributed. Anyone can grab them. I might switch over to SUSE on that as well. So I don't see the issue at all that people are complaining about.
Those multi-touch drivers are an interesting one because they're developed in-house by Canonical, then shared, and then the X people got it and said, you know, we're not sure we want to use this.
Yeah.
The result is a delay potentially in multi-touch hitting the market as far as general use goes.
Unless people pick up the packages that Canonical had developed.
But it also means that say Ubuntu 10.10 will ship with those multi-touch drivers regardless of if X11 picks them up.
Good. They should.
Right, because they get used, they get tested, and then it gives us a chance to go back and say, you know what, that software worked really well in Ubuntu. Maybe we will integrate it mainline.
Exactly. It gives it real-world testing on it. And later on, there's no reason Ubuntu can't say, well, you know what, the X11 versions of them are now quality enough that we'll just use that and we'll drop the project we were working on.
The chat room seems to be pretty mixed on Ubuntu. You know, some of them say it's their distribution of choice. Some of them say they started with OpenSUSE.
Yeah.
It's really going to depend, right? And I hear a lot from a lot of people that start with Fedora because of Red Hat, and then they eventually make their way over to Ubuntu and then OpenSUSE.
And then there's always the diehard Arch people. They're like, well, why aren't you guys using Arch?
It's a good question.
It's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know why we never review Arch.
Yeah.
We never talk.
We will. We plan to.
Every now and then we mention how people want us to review Arch.
The issue is,
why don't we?
The longer we go without reviewing Arch, the more epic the final review needs to be. And now I feel like we've built to this thing that we just can't accomplish in our available time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I don't want to give it...
I don't want to screw it over. I want to actually dive in and use it for like a month.
Exactly, but we don't have time.
I don't have time to do that.
Exactly.
I got to get my work done. So right now I'm going to install what I know. And that's going to be something RPM or Debian based.
If I get a chunk of time, I'm going to do it. I mean, it is #1 distro I need to try.
You know what we should have? We should just have like on the desk a small Arch machine and just screw with it for a few minutes every now and then.
I was thinking about doing it with that guy.
The little guy?
The little monitor we have over there?
Yeah, why not?
Totally. All right,
why
maybe
not?
I will.
It might be worth a shot.
Yeah, all right. I'll try it.
But it's, anyway. That's all I got to say on that. This whole back and forth flame war, it's not over. They're going to keep going on this
right?
because people are just being really cranky. And I know we have a reputation for being a little cranky ourselves, or at least I do. But realistically, this is just over the top cranky. This is just crankiness for crankiness' sake. It's not even funny crankiness. It's not like people going, Fedora, look at the stupid Fedora over there in the corner. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, come on. You may not find it funny, but, well, I do. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the people just, like, are just pissed at Canonical. They're, like, legitimately angry.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's so many little distros. They're not angry at those little distros. They're not committing a ton of code back.
You know, when you get big.
I don't know. See, that's just me. That's like making fun of Microsoft just because they're huge.
I don't know. You know, like
or hating Apple now that they're getting big, but loving Apple when they were small and still screwing everyone over. They didn't change at all. They just were smaller, so you liked them. Like come on. I think it's when just jumping on the bandwagon.
Is it when you reach a certain point of saturation that people are like, I want to get attention, so I'm going to attack, or is it? So. Yeah.
That's honestly, as far as I can tell, that's why Red Hat attacks me.
The entire company, Red Hat, the company.
Actually, Red Hat never attacked me.
No.
Red Hat just won't talk to me.
Yeah.
This is the Fedora.
I don't blame him though. I mean, you're on here hating him all the time.
Dude, I would not talk to me either. Red Hat, smart move. Though the Linux, the Free Software Foundation won't talk to me either.
Yeah.
Linux Foundation, however, cool dudes. They're like, oh, Linux Action Show. That has a word we like in it.
I accidentally forgot to leave the National Free Software Foundation Day off our list today. You know, they made themselves, I think, I might be wrong on this, but I believe they declared it National Free Software Foundation Day.
No, they didn't.
I think that.
When is that?
Let's check on this between the segments.
Wait, when is that?
I think we missed it.
This last week or something?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure. We'll double check.
Are you joking?
No, we'll check when we break. But
all right, chat room, look into that while we're talking about the next segment.
I just wanted to wrap the news segment here on an interesting story that's probably going to lead to more things down the road. Nokia has hired Peter. I think it's
Skill Man.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of an
Peter
epic name.
Skill Man.
It's like an old school, like 1800s, works with his hands name, or 1700s.
That's like John Kills Bears.
Anyways, they've hired the former VP of design for Palm, who was the guy that was heavily involved with the design of the WebOS.
The Weebos?
And now he's coming over to MeeGo to do MeeGo user experience.
Oh, dear.
He's going to be the chief of user experience. And here's what's interesting is this has actually been confirmed by Nokia. At first, there was no word if this is actually true or not. And
it's confirmed.
Nokia came out and said, we just hired him. Literally, right. We just hired him. And then they asked, well, why didn't you say anything? And this is what their response is. We have products today. Products are more interesting. Peter is looking after the user experience of MeeGo and services. And it's a great new addition to the team. And is a great new addition to the team. Essentially, and this is a problem I have with Nokia, is they really downplay MeeGo. They really downplay their future developments, and and the reason they do it, I believe, in my opinion, is because they don't want focus taken away from the crappy Symbian phones and their crappy phones they make now.
Well, their dumb phones is where they make most of their money.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, they're not a smart phone maker.
Their revenues are also down 70%.
Yeah, but
they've lost two people at the top of their company.
They're still the #1 phone maker in the world.
Yeah, but
by a long shot.
Give them to mid 2011, and they won't be. I mean, they are on a fast decline.
I don't know, dude. Throughout all of Asia, India, and everywhere, they are the phone that people have.
But dude, they've lost two of their top.
It doesn't matter. They're
70% revenue loss. I mean, their market share is sliding faster than.
It is.
The thing is you take this guy in, and what's he going to do? He's probably going to slow down the release of MeeGo. Let's be realistic.
Well, I don't know. Maybe see that is my concern too.
I mean, can you believe they just launched their new Premier phones running Symbian?
Yep.
They're big phones.
Yep.
They launched phones that are supposed to be billed as competitors to iPhone, BlackBerry, and Android with QWERTY keyboards and all this crap.
And they're Symbian.
And I understand a lot of you out there like Symbian. I honestly do, but you have to realize Symbian is just not going to sell in the markets it needs to sell.
Honestly, from my point of view, using Symbian as the foundation of your next generation phones makes less sense than using Windows Mobile 6 as the foundation for your next. Because honestly, Windows Mobile 6, it was okay. It wasn't great. It just had a terrible UI.
Yeah,
like just god awful, and it was fairly unstable. But come on, it had at least some good points to it. And Symbian does have a few good points, and honestly, you can skin it up to have kind of a nice UI, but it's just not a good foundation.
It's missing, at least from what I've been told by developer viewers, is it's missing some core fundamental API libraries that all the other OSs have.
It was not built. It's like BlackBerry. BlackBerry was even worse, but it was not really built to build a ton of apps and games for. I mean, you can, but that's not what it was built for. That's why you don't see people talking about, the amazing applications available for Symbian phones.
I agree.
Because there are a couple good ones, but for the most part, developers it's not worth it to them. It's not worth the investment, and they just can't get what they need.
And plus, as a developer, are you going to throw your weight behind Symbian when you know that probably 2011 Nokia is going to roll out phones based on MeeGo? Hopefully,
seriously,
it'd be like writing applications for Windows CE 6.5 right now.
So I've got this little N900 here.
Yep.
I love it. I love this phone. It's running Maemo. I don't know that I'll actually upgrade to MeeGo. I'll probably upgrade to use it and then downgrade back to Maemo at this point. It's a nerd phone. It's not going to be a consumer level phone because at this point, it has a great user experience. It's great, but it's not polished and easy to use for an average user.
And that's why I was shocked when they jumped boats to MeeGo in the first place, because it felt like Maemo was probably 6 months away from being...
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, because honestly, the N900 versus the N810, they Maemo 4 to Maemo 5, they added, really cool, compass style effects for all the application switching and all that sort of thing. Honestly, a little bit more spit and polish, a little more shine, maybe a couple more default apps. Boom, you're ready to go. You're ready to take on Android and the iPhone. You've got a system to do it.
Yeah.
So they already had one major switch up to go over to the MeeGo side of things. We already have the only software stack available is Maemo for this, which means the N900 is essentially end of life. It's dead. We can get them now. I love them. I still recommend a nerd get it.
And there's an app repo that has apps in it.
Oh yeah, it's great. I have a ton of apps on this sucker.
But you just got to rack. So they just got done shipping a Maemo device which has an end of life operating system, and now they're shipping Symbian devices which have an end of life operating system.
Yep.
And I mean not technically end of life, but come on, nobody's going to develop huge applications for it. So it's end of life. And they don't have MeeGo out yet.
It's end of life for nerds. If you're a hardcore tech junkie kind of person or someone who wants the latest and greatest, it's end of life for you. I mean, granted, people can still buy these Symbian phones, and honestly, they will by the millions.
And there's a ton of justification for having a more simple phone.
Those Symbian phones will probably sell a lot more than Android or iPhone combined.
If I could do it all over again, I might not even get a smartphone sometimes because it feels like I can't get away from people, and I understand there's a market for them. And I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying it's a market that they cannot solely be a member of because they, as a company, will die.
I don't know.
And that would be sad.
You know, kind of part of me just wants to go...
exactly, right?
Wants to go jitterbug, and get these guys. The founder...
Just dead simple.
The creator, which we met, of cell phones.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
And his wife, I believe, started this company.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, this is...
David Imes?
No. I'll figure it out after the break. But anyway, jitterbug phones. I don't think I'm going to ever use a jitterbug phone because it's kind of expensive, but it's just a dead simple phone.
I like it.
It's simple. It's a freaking phone, and I like that.
But see, exactly, if you want that you're going to go something that route. You're not going to go to Symbian phone.
You're not going to go to Symbian phone. So Symbian is like in this weird spot in the middle. That's what I'm thinking.
Dude.
What Nokia should just do is just make a lot of those. Those probably cost
Maybe.
4 pennies to build.
Yeah. So
just build like 1 billion of them, sell them for $50. Everyone on the planet will have
one. It feels like Nokia is afraid to take risks.
I don't know. It does feel kind of that way. I mean, but then again, they picked up QT from Trolltech, so now they've got the best UI framework out there.
Absolutely.
Or at least really
for
close
phones.
to
It's got to be one of. Right?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. They've got Memo. Well.
Yep.
They kind of have Memo.
Yeah,
they
got MeeGo.
Working on it. They got MeeGo now, so they've got a great OS. They've got a great dev environment.
Yep.
They've got Qt Creator, one of the best integrated development environments
available. They've got the foundation for the OV Store, which is an application
and
store.
And the OV Store, it may not have all the spit and polish of what like the Android Marketplace or the iPhone Store has right now.
Maybe that's what this guy could do is tie some of that in.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe this guy really can pull together all the web services.
Man, they just need to ship,
and they just need to ship. Because that's what I'm worried about too, is that they won't ship. I don't want them to use this as an excuse to try and make MeeGo more like WebOS. Because honestly, WebOS is great. I like WebOS a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? That'd be fine. I would love it if they shipped WebOS phones. But I don't care. Right now, I want them to ship a great Linux-powered
You know what?
nerd
I
phone.
think that's where I think that's where my urgency comes out. It comes through is HP has confirmed they're working on WebOS 2.0.
Yep.
And they've got a lot of people there. They've got a ton of money. Apple has got iOS 4. You've got Android. Yep. Android 3.0 is going to be coming out soon. And you got Windows Mobile 7. And Windows Mobile 7 is going to be a powerhouse simply because Microsoft's going to spend like $5 billion, literally, on the marketing campaign.
And you know what's messed up? Windows Phone 7 is nice.
It's got the Xbox Live, so if you're an Xbox user, you're going to use it. So
Netflix Watch now.
Yep.
So when we were at PAX, did you play around with the Windows Phone 7 phones?
Yep.
Good gaming.
Yep.
Some good games at launch.
Probably the best games. I mean, they probably will. I foresee Microsoft spending a ton of money on ensuring that they have some of the best games.
So
just by pure market power, money, just money.
So Nokia looking at this with MeeGo.
Another delay means they might be dead on arrival.
Dead on arrival, which sucks for me.
Because out of all of the OSs, this could be the best one.
And that's what pisses me off. This could be the best one. And right now, in my opinion, Memo 5 is still the best one there is for a nerd.
That's why it kills me. It's like Nokia has all of what it takes to do it, except for the guts. They just need to release the hounds.
Seriously.
That's my advice for Nokia on today's episode.
They need to learn how to ship damn software.
Hey, so we did make a quick mention in the chat room came through for us.
There we go. That's why we make a live show. We do not have to do any research at all.
Software.
I don't even have to know what day it is. They tell me.
Saturday the 18th.
That was yesterday, right?
And on September 2010. And today's the 19th, so we just missed it.
No, we didn't.
No?
This is the episode that comes out the week of Software Freedom Day. It was yesterday, but this was the closest episode, so this is the day we mention it. We planned that. ahead of time.
Right.
We knew it was coming. All right. So who created Software Freedom Day?
I was going to look. I know it's impartial from the Software Foundation, but there's also a lot of folks who are backing it up, including Canonical. That must not be right because they don't like open source, I've been told.
They told me that.
Yeah. Canonical, Google, Red Hat, Qt, Linode. And a users group, a Danish users group.
Darnish.
It's because I read. I do that all the time live because I read two sentences at once and I mix them. I combine them.
You squeezied them, didn't you?
Compressor, Brian.
You squeezied them.
Yeah, I did.
Whoa, that went big.
Yeah, Ubuntu user, Free Software Foundation, and a few other folks. So.
I don't know what just happened. on your screen. So,
hey, the FSF got a new website, and it looks a jillion times better.
Wow, it does look a lot better.
Still pretty busy.
It's busy.
Looks a little bit like Windows 7, actually. Phone 7.
It looks a lot like Windows Phone 7, yeah. That looks exactly like Windows Phone 7. Kind of the same colors, same blocks, same squares. I wonder if you swipe it to the side, if it'll open a new page or something like that.
Oh, and then Rikai in the chat room found the actual origins of Free Software Day, so...
All right, we're going to figure that out.
Software Freedom Day, I should say.
And we'll be talking about that after the break.
There you go, Brian. All right, Brian, that's all the news for this week.
But dude, I just did the after the break, and I know it's not normal, but it was like a good cutoff point.
Oh, I can cut it off there.
No, keep it. It's fine. Dude, you know what? I have feelings, but you know what? Disregard them.
Don't matter.
Just throw them out the window. Hey, I've got an idea. Go get those big boots you have. Why don't you put my heart on the floor?
Hold on, Brian. I'm going to roll down the window.
Smash.
Hold on, Brian. I'm rolling down the Linux Action Show window.
All right, window out.
I got to roll it up so I don't mess up my hair.
There goes my feelings.
All right,
fantastic. And that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I highly recommend everyone watch the show we just made.
News heavy, but you know what?
Fantastic.
Did it not seem like this week a crazy amount of really important stuff happened?
It did.
It was like a big movement. It was a big movers week.
You know what it felt like?
Huh.
It felt like this whole week was telling us something big's about to happen.
It does seem like
it was
that.
it was like nothing's happening with Novell right now. Huh?
And you've also got the Oracle and Google thing that's like something big's about to happen there.
Big.
A lot of stuff is lining up, and you got Shuttleworth. And I bet when Shuttleworth sat down and wrote that post, he said, think about it. If he burns bridges too badly, it harms distribution.
It's a problem.
So that was a big thing.
So this is kind of big.
Yeah.
So it's a big week. My hope is this next week we'll get some finalization. Maybe we'll get a little bit more details about what's happening with Novell, because honestly, I don't like uncertainty. Uncertainty is no good. You want to let that link.
You want to find out one way or the other eventually. Even if it's bad news, you still want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exciting. So it's going to be interesting what happens over the next couple of weeks, because in the mobile space, Windows Phone 7 launches now, October. October is launch month.
Right.
So we've only got a couple of weeks before those Windows Phone 7 big news stories start essentially dominating headlines for a little while.
Yeah.
So it was iPhone time the beginning of the summer. Now it's Windows Phone 7 time. So it's time to see what's going to happen with those Android tablets coming out. Who's going to take over the media market share?
Exactly.
I mean, of course, you go to Gizmodo or something like that. It's going to be all iPhone anyway. But
it's interesting because it's a very good point. These Android tablets are going to be hitting at the same time these Windows Phone 7 tablets. It's going to be major different sides of this. Yeah. So obviously we're looking forward to covering anything that pertains to the Linux aspect of that on the Linux Action Show.
I'm very excited. It could be really interesting. Now we're on episode 8. 2 episodes left this season.
It's true.
Only 2 left.
I know. This season went by crazy fast.
It went by really fast. When we started out this season, we had like a plan. We were like we have like a couple of like themes we were gonna hit.
Yeah.
Did not.
We were too busy.
We were too busy. There was too much stuff going on.
I know, right?
We were gonna do all this stuff. We had like plans. Like we did the server thing. We planned on doing the server thing. We did the building your home server bit.
Yeah.
But
we had a series of things that I think we'll still save that we still want to get into.
We still want to get into.
Maybe it's just maybe next season will be the time for that.
Yeah, but with Windows Phone 7 and everything else coming out, maybe it will. So we'll see.
That's true.
We'll keep that in our back
People
pocket.
will be desperate for some non-Windows 7 stuff.
Yeah,
and we're going to have a whole ton of it all
We're going to have
up.
a whole ton of it.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of interesting. I also would like to mention Illumination Software Creator is pretty nice.
How's that going?
It's going awesome, man.
Nice.
So if you are an Illumination user and you haven't already, we've got the contest going on right now. If you want the details, go over to radicalbreeze.com. There's a contest tab. Check that out. Basically, we're building a management game, like a resource management game. That's the old Hammurabi game right now.
Love.
In fact, to make it really easy for you guys, if you go to the Wikipedia page for that game and you scroll down to the bottom, there is actually a screenshot of an old BASIC printout of code for like a 70 line or not 70 line, but that's like a 200 line code or maybe a little less version of Hammurabi written in BASIC, which is really easy to translate into Illumination. I did it in about 30 minutes. If you want to join in on that contest, now's the time to do it. It's the 19th of the month right now.
Okay.
On the 30th.
So it's the last day of the
closes.
month?
Yeah, that closes.
Man.
We've gotten a lot of pretty cool ones in so far.
So they got about a week if they're watching this episode when it came out. A little over a week. Honestly, it's pretty short. But we're doing the same thing we did last contest. You get a free game from goodoldgames.com. You get to donate some stuff to a school and a free license for you or someone else. Those sorts of things. Not
but
bad,
anyway.
Sir.
Good stuff. Check it out. A lot of things going on with that. You can make a cool little Android game that's the version of old Hammurabi.
That's right.
So my thought is this contest will happen. We'll get we had like 60 some odd worthwhile, really interesting entries last time.
Yeah.
We had a lot more than that, but some of them were pretty bad. You get 60 or so of those. 60 Hammurabi versions flooding the Android marketplace at the end of next month. So that would just be awesome. Totally unnecessary,
love
but
it though,
awesome.
Right? You love the concept of it.
Absolutely. And seriously, guys, just go buy Illumination if you want it.
Right?
You can pay whatever price you want. I don't care.
I like that.
It's a slider, man.
I like the slider.
It's a slider.
You know me.
Zoom in on the slider.
You know me. I'm a fan
Zoom in
of
on the slider.
And then
Zoom in more.
Maybe I'll give Brian.
Zoom in on the
my
slider
goodness.
more. Oh my gosh, that's a bigger slider now. More zooming in, Chris. More zooming in. There you go. Oh, there we go. Pixelated slider. That is a slider.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, slider. So go to radicalbreeze.com, check that stuff out, and we put up the news at blog.radicalbreeze.com, so you can do the good stuff up there.
And did you see that the Ubuntu.net? This was brought to us by I think it's LL in the chat room. Ubuntu.net did a write up on.
Actually, they did a tutorial screencast.
Yeah,
they did a little video tutorial on
cool, dude.
on Illumination,
so people could check that out.
We've been getting the press machine has really kicked into full gear.
That's good.
And if
That's
you
the
guys
next step.
are in Western Washington or the Pacific Northwest region, next month at the Android Developer User Group in Seattle, I will be presenting Illumination and giving everyone a tutorial and taking questions and the like.
Really? Cool.
If you want details on that, just send me an email and I'll send you the info. But so that'll be in Seattle.
Nice.
Downtown Seattle on the waterfront. It'll be very, very fantastic.
I like that.
And afterwards, we will go to a bar. So if you want to come and see me talk about Illumination and then go to a bar, that's the place to be. Granted,
wait a minute.
The beers are not on me.
Hold on. How am I?
I'm
I'm getting the short end of the deal here because I see you all the time and hear you talking about Illumination Software Creator, and I'm not getting any beer. Dang it, Brian. All right, maybe I'll have to attend the users group.
If you want the beer, you got it.
Yep.
That's how it goes if you want the beer.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Linux Action Show. Now, if you'd like to give us feedback.
Oh, that's right. Those things.
Right? You got the Colony. You got JupiterColony.com. You got any other preferred ways for people to find out more about the show?
Facebook.com whack Jupiter Broadcasting, which is great because here's the thing about Facebook.com/Jupiter Broadcasting. If you want to make 50 million friends, you have to make some enemies.
That's true.
Also, you have to be overly dramatic in a movie. And the movie has to not be terribly accurate, I hear.
Yeah.
And you have to not want to see that movie.
Needs angst. Some angst.
Yeah, some teen angst. Teen Facebook movie angst. That's what Facebook.com/Jupiter Broadcasting is all about.
Why would you not want that?
Here. Also, Twitter.com. I'm Brian Lunduke. His Chris LAS. It's very, very fantastic.
You got it.
My blog is lunduke.com. His blog isn't, I don't know.
I don't use it.
He doesn't use it.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Yes, we will.